Hello. Sorry about the shakiness there. Anyway, name's James Caruso. Um, in 2021, the wonderful coronavirus came into town, and my wife got it first. And everybody warned me and told me to stay away from her um, till she got over it. But of course, I didn't listen, and I tempted the enemy. Um, I told coronavirus I was the biggest, baddest person on this earth, and it couldn't touch me. Well, needless to say, it hit me, it touched me, and it kicked my ass. I spent 3 months in and out of hospitals, 4 hospitals, 3 different states, $85,000 helicopter ride, 100 miles away. I do remember parts of that now. I remember hearing the helicopters, and I couldn't see because I was in a coma, but I remember hearing the helicopter ride and thinking to myself, if I survived this, I had to tell people. So as we go on, um, during my hospital visit, I remember the first couple of weeks was nothing but a nightmare. Nothing less than a nightmare. The hospital was short-staffed. The people were miserable. They worked too many hours. Nobody gave a shit about you. You were treated like a piece of can't even say a piece of meat because you'd plan on eating a piece of meat sooner or later. So I was treated like a piece of shit at Nanacoke Hospital in Delaware, now called Tidal Health. I call it Die Health because I died there 3 times. Anyway, get back to it. When I was sitting in the hospital, I got visions of a couple of most loving people I have ever met in my life, and that was my aunt and my uncle. They were so full of love and so full of peace and true Jesus. So I did see when I was tapping out at one point, probably about the third week that I was in the hospital, I seen visions of them tell me it was okay, it was going to be okay. I seen a vision of my father also saying, it's going to be okay, Michael. Michael is the name that I go by. That's my middle name. My father called me Michael, and it stuck. Anyway, as I was going through all this stuff in this hospital, piss poor service, sick as a dog, dying, not knowing that I was dying. Well, they would send me home every 10 days or so, or try to send me home, and I'd be right back in the hospital again within hours. Um, it was horrible. So let's get back to the death part. So anyway, that's the main reason for this video is what happened to me when I died. September 19th, Sunday, I was sitting right here in this chair. And 2019 or 2021, September 19th, 2021. And I knew something was wrong. I didn't know exactly what. I thought I just needed a little bit of oxygen. I thought my oxygen level was a little low. But I knew I needed help, so I called for my wife. My wife couldn't hear me. She was outside. I panicked, and not thinking of dialing 911, I called my neighbor to get my wife for me. Anyway, he got hurt. The ambulance comes. I'm sitting here, and they're taking me out of here on a gurney, and I told my wife, I said, I gotta take a shit. And she said, well, it's too late now. Wait till you get to the hospital. Well, I got out front, and this is the way things go for me. It was a brand new ambulance, first time out, and they hooked me onto the back of the ambulance. They started the lift to pick me up to put me on the ambulance because I'm 300 pounds. And the lift on the back of the ambulance breaks. Brand new ambulance. So here I am sitting hanging off the back of an ambulance on a stretcher, and they can't do nothing with me. So at that point, I was really feeling really shitty. I didn't know what was going on. I had no clue where I was or what was going on. But I did turn to the guy, the EMT, and ask him. I said, dude, I said, I just shit myself. I'm sorry. And he said, don't worry about it. And I said, I am worried about it. It's gross, man. You shouldn't have to smell this stuff. I'm sorry. And he said, don't worry about it. And I said, I started thinking, I said, dude, I shit myself. That's not good, is it? And he said, no, sir. And I said, should I start praying? And he says, yes, sir, if you believe, you should start praying. And at that point, I got the Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. And that was it. I died right there that day. So I was out for 3.5 minutes. Caused a little brain damage. I'm sure that I'm a little slower than what I once was. And neighbor told me that they worked on me for 10 minutes out there before they moved the. They got me into another ambulance, but before they moved that one, they worked on me for 10 minutes to bring me back, on and off. And he could see them pumping on my chest. Anyway, I went from there. I got to the hospital. I had a do not resuscitate. The doctor said to me, would you like to be resuscitated? And at that point, I said yes. I changed my do not resuscitate and said I wanted to see my grandson born, who was due in a month. So he then asked me if I would like to donate my organs, and I'd like to specify this because when I asked him if I'd like to donate my organ, or if I would like to donate my organs, I told him no. I said, who would want these old beat up organs? I said, they're no darn good. They've been worked to the max over my years. And he said, a person that doesn't have an organ at all would like your broken organs. So put that into your mind and think about that. If you don't believe in sharing your organs when you leave this world, I think it's a beautiful thing to help somebody that doesn't have one at all. And so here we go. After I agreed to that, what I had was double saddlebag blood clots. And what that means is both of your lungs are filled with blood clots. There's no oxygen getting to your brain or body. So when they got me to the hospital, they shot me up with some kind of one of the Nile viruses that thins your blood so much that you bleed out of your eyes, ears, nose, throat. Your eyes, ears, nose, mouth, and the other places that you can think of. Everything, you're bleeding out of it. Well, they used all my blood, or all the blood that they had. I'm O negative, and they used all the blood that they had, O negative, and told my wife to go home and make arrangements that I wouldn't be coming home. And There was nothing else that they could do. So my children told them to get me to another hospital. That's the only thing that saved my life. And I was there. And if you ever wonder whether somebody can hear you or not when they're on their deathbed and they're in a coma place, yes, yes, we can hear you. We can hear every single word as we drift in and out of that coma place. But most of the time, I could hear, and I heard my children trying to make humor out of a bad situation, which is our family thing. You know, we're a bunch of jokers, and they were waving beef jerky under my nose, and my son was saying, "Come on, Dad, if you wake up, you can have a piece of this." And they were playing games with me, doing some weird things, and I was naked and bleeding from everywhere. And my daughter-in-law, who's a nurse, had animal crackers and put a camel on my testicles and said, "Look, I have a camel toe." So that's a little bit of humor in our family that we Anyway, after this, I hear my children laughing and carrying on and stuff, and I'm thinking I'm fighting for my life. I'm saying, "You SOBs, I'm going to come back and I'm going to kick every one of your butts." And I don't remember hearing my wife, but my wife was telling the children to piss me off because I would come back. Well, after that point there, I went to this dark place, to a dark, pitch black, blacker than black. And I knew it wasn't good. So I started talking to my God of my understanding, and that's my Lord Jesus Christ. And I told him, "Lord Jesus," I said, "I know you're here with me, and I know you can hear me. And I love you and believe in you with all my heart, soul, and mind that you have given me the ability to believe in you and love you. And if this is my time to meet you, sir, then I am ready because I've been a good guy. I do AA and I work with guys that are sick and suffering and addiction, and I've done my good part. I'm a good little boy now." And God didn't say nothing. He did show me three different things that I fell short in life and wasn't a very nice person. So after that, I told him, I said, "Sir," I said, "give me another chance, and I will promise you that I will work with the sick and suffering, with addiction and mental illness." And a little bit after that point, some things started getting crazy. I felt like I was going down a wormhole, or a, as in Star Wars when they hit hyperspace. And I knew that I was going down. I was not coming up, going up. I was going down. I was in this hyperspace, and there's lights flying past me and everything that you could imagine. And I'm begging God, "Please, please, 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 please give me another chance. I promise, I promise, I promise, I promise." I probably promised to God that I wouldn't ever eat sugar again, just to get another chance to come back here. I promised him I wouldn't smoke cigars. I promised him I would never cheat. I would never lie. I'd never do nothing again to make him mad at me. And at that point, going down this wormhole, I don't know how long it was, but it seemed like a long time when I had made every promise in the world. And bam, I then woke up in Philadelphia, 100 miles away from where I started. And people are telling me that I died and that I was a miracle. And did I know where I was at? No, I knew nothing at all. I was in a coma for 7 days on total life support. And I do believe my Lord Jesus Christ gave me another chance. This is my story of near death experience. And I devote my time to the sick and suffering in AA and A, and just open my hand and my heart to anybody that wants to talk to this old man. Thank you for listening to my story. God bless you. Good night.